Hey there, it's DCBuppie, and I am so excited to bring you my first Get Ready With Me video, hosted by myself, the DCBuppie, and Buppie Televised. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to hearing your comments. So let's get into it. The first thing you absolutely need to do is brush your teeth. Dental hygiene is incredibly important. Ha ha ha. Anyway, what I do next is moisturize my face. I happen to be using Kiehl's at this time to get my face all right and ready. After I moisturize my face, I kind of wait a few minutes to let it sink in, and then I hit my face with some primer. What you see here is Smashbox Photo Finish that I kind of copped at a TJ Maxx, but you can use any primer really to kind of make sure that the makeup stays onto your face. So the critical piece of makeup on my face is always to me, my opinion, are your brows. Your brows, I feel, set the symmetry, and I forgot who said it or if it's known, but human beings attract beauty to symmetry, and so that's where I try to really focus a lot of my effort up front is on my brows. I don't have the greatest brows, as you can see. They're pretty damn thin, and I use Anastasia Beverly Hills. I forgot what this brow pencil is called, but it's the thicker one. I actually prefer the thinner one, but I had the thicker one at this time to comb my eyebrows into a shape and then fill them in with the eyebrow pencil color. I think this is dark brown. So what I like to do is take the eyebrow pencil and outline the bottom arch, as you can see right here, and then pull that towards the front of my brow to draw in a line that mimics the arch of my eyebrow, and then go back and fill in on the top from there. Now, before I got privy to the whole eyebrow pencil game, I was using MAC Embark eyeshadow to fill in my brows. And I kept it a part of my routine because I just like how thick and even it makes my eyebrows look. I use an angle brush. That angle brush that you just saw, I got from the MAC store. And I just like the color and how smooth and flat my eyebrows look. Some people don't like that look, so consider this step optional. After I fill in my brows, I get into the concealer part, which I always keep a lot of concealers. The first one you see right here, I believe, is Toffee. Second is a sample one of my sorority sisters gave me. I have no idea what it is. I start with the LA Pro Girl Concealer in Toffee. I put some on my hand, and then I also use an angle brush, and what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be outlining my eyebrows. The attention and care I put into my eyebrows is deep. This is usually what adds so much time to my routine. The outlining I like because it makes your eyebrows more sharper. The more sharper they are, the more additional symmetry you have. So then here comes my second use of that concealer, of that unknown sample. After I use kind of all the excess and blend that out around my brows, if I have excess concealer or that unknown concealer in this case, I use that to kind of flatten out the colors or my natural color on my eyelids, so that my eyeshadow can apply, very well. So after that's all done, I kind of just stop, take a look at my eyebrows. I think they look great. What do you guys think? So I went a little bit different outside of my routine, and you guys know that I always share my successes and failures with you all. And so we're about to get into that fail section of what not to do with your makeup and the couple of lessons I learned. Number one, I went outside of my routine, and normally I don't apply my eyeshadow until after I did my foundation, but in this time I did. Second thing is, you see this cheap ass palette that I've had for a while. This was an incredible lesson in, quality makeup, and spending money on quality makeup makes a difference, and we're going to see why. So cut back in. I'm doing my eyelids now and my eyeshadow, and I have about 3 different brushes. That stupid ass, cheap ass palette. And here's why I immediately dumped this crap in the trashes. It's going on like dust and powder. See? Do you guys see that? Like, it is going on like dust and powder. And that's not what you want in a good eyeshadow. But hey, we all had to learn our lessons. So please look at this entire section as a learning lesson to see how it applied, and really how it really didn't stick. You want a shadow which is thicker than a powder to kind of really lay and melt into your skin, so the pigment really comes through for you. So I thought I had myself together, realized that that palette was garbage. So I go grab another palette. I found this one at TJ Maxx. I don't know the name, it's not worth it. But take a look on how this goes on as well. While it goes on less dusty than the previous palette, nonetheless, there's still a dust factor with this eyeshadow. And I'm still trying to work it in. And if you guys are trying to figure out what exactly is she going for, I'm trying to go for like a glowy look. Very pastel, subtle pastel look, glowy gold. And it's just not working out for me. I should also further mention that when it comes to doing makeup, I'm not a professional. I am not a professional. I am not a professional. I'm just a regular girl who tries to beat her face here and there to look cute when she goes out. And if I had to say anything in terms of my weak points, it is eyeshadow. So I finally get myself together and realize, like, this ain't it. This ain't the business. So I grab a makeup wipe, and the great thing about using that concealer is that it acts as an amazing base to eyeshadow. So I just wipe this off, and since I didn't do my foundation in this case, I can keep it moving. So after I wipe off that horrible eyeshadow tragic mess that you all just saw, I go back and reset my eyelids with that concealer sample that I don't know what it is. I like it because it's a bit creamy and really flattens out kind of my tones in my skin. And then I just go and touch up with the excess concealer a bit under my brow to make sure that those still pop. Then I pick right back up and try to get into my foundation routine. I'm using Lancome's Nude Miracle, and I love to use this around the summertime because it goes on so light. There is a dropper, but I don't really use the dropper. And I wouldn't consider this a full coverage either. I think it's medium coverage. I'll double check to make sure. And then I literally kind of work it in with, I think this is called like a stripling brush. And I really learned that from the Sephora lady. That's how she showed it to me. To work it into my skin, and I make sure that I don't hit my brows. So next up is getting to the highlighting, and I have a love-hate relationship with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit in the colors Deep. I love this palette when I first got it. I was new to the game, but I'm gonna just be honest with you all. I'm using the palette now because I bought it and I'm not about to waste this makeup. However, I really just prefer the LA Girl Pro HD concealers. In this case, I'm using a heavy cream contour kit because I use such a light foundation and I wanted to be lit on my face, and you know, that's what I did. So then I get to blending with my blending sponge, and I just, you know, keep these on deck. And I don't subscribe to any type or function, to be honest with you all. I just, as you probably saw, I just made it a little damp, and this is a critical part. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't always do the best at this because I don't have a lot of patience to really beat and blend to make sure that you know, that it comes through on your face correctly and blends so you're not looking so uneven. You likely see me move around a bit. I'm playing with my makeup in different lighting to see how it blends. After I really master and beat in my concealer for my highlight, I then get into contouring, and I make that duck face to kind of figure out what line I want to follow. The one thing I will say about that cream contour kit is that makeup goes on smooth. Then it's pretty much working in the concealer and the highlight and contour, beating and blending, beating and blending. So when you contour, you can just contour and leave it be. But if you want your joint to be on fleek, then you go back as what I'm doing right now in terms of put concealer under the contour to really get that joint to pop. Like, really bring in your cheekbones so you can look really super, super, super thin. Oh my gosh, we're getting to my most favorite part, which is the highlight and the highlighting powders. And then I'm using Topaz. You're probably seeing a unique form factor because I was able to find kind of variety sample pack. And I love those sample packs and I think they're so economical. Essentially, I got like 3 or 4 colors. I think banana, topaz, and sienna. And I can pick and choose, based on my look, how lit I want to be. In this case, I love topaz. I don't know if other brown skin girls like that as well. It makes me just look really glowy. And I find that the longer you bake, the stronger the highlight comes through, just the FYI. So as I'm baking, I'm taking a look at my edges. They are quite grown out and I love Jamaican black castor oil. And so I am just treating my edges before I move forward. So here comes time to revisit the eyeshadow and look. And I find another palette. I also got this one from TJ Maxx. So let's see the difference. So do you all see the difference? Did we see any powder or dust or anything like that come through? And see how pigmented it is laying onto my eyelids? Like, yes, we finally got the opportunity to make a win. After that whole eyelid eyeshadow debacle, I am not running on time, so I'm starting to freak out. Critical to my game, are my lashes. If you haven't already, check out my 3D lash haul. I'll put the link below. And so I'm going to pop these on off camera. I'm freaking out because I'm running behind. What a difference those eyelashes made, right? And so after my lashes, I just go and line them with eyeliner so that they look more blendable. After that, I have been baking for quite a while, probably a little over baked. So I take a fan brush and I'm brushing for dear life. While I brush. I'm also trying to make sure I blend and get rid of any harsh lines. Now you can't have a beat face and some whack edges, so at this point I need to get my edges together, and so I'm using Gorilla Snot. It's very cheap and economical, and in order when you use it, you definitely need to be very careful. So I'm over here trying to get my baby hairs together, and very careful because it's very snotty and slippery and messy from that perspective. And the key to Gorilla Snot is that you got to tie your edges down and let that joint set. After we got the edges together, I found this palette at TJ Maxx and I'm really happy with it. It has so many different blushes. So right now I'm going in and getting my blush together. And then you go back and you're always beating and blending, blending and beating. If you're curious why I keep moving back and forth in front of the camera and mirror, it's because I like to inspect my face in different lighting conditions so I can make sure that, it's coming through correctly. But before I move on, I have to get to my lips. But before I get to my lips, I must set my face, and I use the NYX Matte Finishing Spray. So I'm using the Espresso NYX pencil, and as I was sharing with you, I'm going for this like goldy pastel-y look, and I have this pastel regular lipstick. I don't remember the color, but I will find it for you guys if you are interested, I promise. And that really kind of solidifies my look. So ta-da! Here is my final look for the wedding. I literally made it just there in time. I got this outfit from boohoo.com. If you guys didn't check out my haul, I'll put it in the link below or in somewhere in this video. It was so timely of a dress and very affordable. And voila, here is my final makeup look. I loved it. It looked just as natural and glowy, goldy, pastel-y as I wanted it to. And I got tons of compliments at the wedding. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe.